happen. I know it's been once again, like a New York minute since I've been on here. Excuse my bedhead. I took a nap for a while and didn't sleep well. I ended up waking up and but anyway, before I get into the reading the urban legends part 8 for you guys, basically I was gonna let y'all know where I've been. Just had some, had to take care of some personal stuff going on in my life, just involving relationships, different relationships in my life, family, friends, lovers, it's basically been everything. Um, I've had basically issues with every single one of them. Every single one of those relationships. Except the friends one. Me and my best friend, we've spoken the last couple of days. Usually we'll talk, maybe like we started talking we went from talking every day to like talking, every like once a week, and then it went to like a month, and then it went to like several months, and it's just because we ended up getting busy. I ended up moving to a different state. She's still in Brooklyn. I ended up moving so many times, like 6 times already. Ended up homeless for 1 year. So like my life has been so hectic. I'm telling you, the past 11 and a half years. I'm telling you, it's been like a huge shit mess. That's all I can tell you. A lot has gone down, that I really didn't want it to go down. Things that I thought would go down the way I wanted them to, but didn't. Then my niece ends up giving me an ultimatum, and she basically gave me an ultimatum saying like if I didn't do something she wanted me to do, that she wasn't gonna talk to me anymore. That I was not family to her anymore. She was cutting me off, and that's what she did because I didn't go for her ultimatum. I felt like she was wrong in what she did. She had no right to give me an ultimatum over something that belonged to me. She wanted something that belongs to me. And the fact that I wouldn't give it to her, yeah, my niece basically told me to give her something that belonged to me, or I'm not her family, no, like you're not my family no more. I'm cutting you off. You're dead to me, basically all of that. And I was not giving it to her. It's my property. It belonged to me. So why am I going to give somebody something that's mine? There you go. Brutal. Hi, doing, Amadou. I'm doing good. Hi, Timothy. Well, sorry, Moral. My niece doesn't talk to me anymore. Um, she no longer wants me to be a part of her life. And that's just the decision that had to be made, I'll share that little personal part of what happened with you guys. See, my sister, my only sibling that I had, it was my sister. She was 4 years older than me. She passed away. She had two children, 2 little girls, and which is my 2 nieces. My sister died when she was 39 years old, and she was cremated. So she left her ashes to me, some to me from being her sister, some to my mother, obviously, and some to both of her children. Now, my niece, because I want to finally release my sister's ashes, I don't want to leave them in the urn anymore. Because I spoke to my sister about this a long time ago. We discussed it. If we ever passed away, what we would do. If we would be buried or cremated, we said we would be cremated. Like what we would do with our ashes and stuff. I told her what I would do with hers. I told her when I was ready to let her go, that I would release her ashes. Well, I've had her ashes for the past 16 years, and I feel it's time for me to release her ashes and let her go. My niece got extremely pissed. She said, no, if you release the ashes, she said, I guarantee you we're not family no more. You're nothing to me. I'm going to block your phone number and I will never speak to you again. She's like, just give me the urn and I'll keep it. I'm not giving her the urn. It's mine and I'm going to do what the hell I want with it. And I'm keeping my promise to my sister. That's basically it. So I said, well, if that's how you feel, then we're not family no more. It breaks my heart that you're going to give me that ultimatum. Obviously, I don't mean shit to you if you're going to do that to me. Make me do that, like give me an ultimatum. Don't do that. You got your own ashes. Like, let me do what I want with mine. They're mine. Exactly, brutal. I don't need to give her any of my ashes. She has one. Both of her children got a big urn. They got big urns with their mother's ashes. I got a small, tiny one of my sister's ashes. And my mother got a tiny one of my sister's ashes. I'm not giving her my tiny little urn of ashes. I'm sorry, but no. She has a big-ass urn with my sister's ashes. She doesn't need mine. I don't know why she cares, Heather. I have no freaking idea. And what I really don't understand the most is my sister's been dead now. Yesterday was her birthday. She's been dead now for 16 years. Why would she wait 16 years to start bitching about this now? Like, that's what I don't get. And then she was pissed at my mom because my mom decided, my dad passed away years ago too. He died a year and a half after my sister died. So, but he was buried. So my mother took her urn, her ashes of my sister when she was ready to get rid of them. My mom took her little urn and she buried them in the ground where my dad is buried. She said, I wanted my daughter and my husband to be together. My niece she went ballistic. She got so pissed. She was like, my mom never wanted to be buried. And I mean, she was just livid over this. And I'm like, she wasn't buried. She was cremated. Her ashes were buried. There's a big difference. It's like, get over it. You have your ashes. I'm not telling you what to do with your ashes. I'm not telling your sister Abby what to do with her ashes. Why are you telling me what to do with mine? Exactly. And my niece, she's actually 28 years old, and this is how she's acting. She's acting like a 10-year-old. She's acting like a little child. Yeah, she's 28. And then all she kept telling me on the phone when we talked, oh, I'm almost 30 years old. I'm an adult. I'm almost 30. Well, fucking act like it. Because an adult would not act like that, Talk like a civil adult. Then she cursed me out. She's like, go fuck yourself, and you're an asshole, and this. And I didn't argue back with her because I was like, you know what? I'm the adult. I'm not going to argue with somebody that's younger than me. And regardless, I'm going to have that respect. Even though my sister's not here, I'm going to respect her child. And I was not going to argue back with her. I did not curse at her. I didn't say nothing. I said, you know what, Amber? I says, I do not talk to people when they're angry because they say things that they don't mean. So I'm ending this conversation right here, right now. So I said, if you want to curse me out, call me every dirty curse word in the world. I do not care. I am not saying nothing back to you. Out of respect from my sister. That's it. And I was like, also, I'm going to keep my promise to my sister. She knew I was going to release her ashes when I was ready to let her go. I feel 16 years I've mourned her enough that I feel ready to let her ashes go. So, and that's just how it's going to be. Well, get this. She's 28 years old. She's never left the house, her house. She lives with her dad. Okay, since my sister died. She lives with her dad. Okay, she was 12 years old when my sister passed. She lives with her dad. She never goes outside. She's never had a boyfriend, any kind of relationship. She's never been kissed. She dropped out of high school. She only went to junior year. All she does, she don't have a job. She don't even want to go look for her own apartment. You know, and because of my sister's wrongful death, because the hospital, my sister wouldn't have died if the hospital didn't fuck up. My niece is literally sitting on $100,000. She won't go buy her own house or not. I would have bought a house for myself. You know, no, she's living in the projects with her dad. You know, she don't work. What she does all day, she draws, she watches anime cartoons, and she plays video games. And she's 28 years old. I lived on my own when I was 22. I got my own apartment when I was 22 years old. I mean, seriously, like, you're gonna live underneath your dad's ass the rest of your life? Is that what you want to do? Then her other daughter turned out messed up because her other daughter turned out to be a pothead. You know, they have different fathers. So, yeah, her other daughter that lives in a different state, now she's a pothead. You know, and I was like, if my sister was here, neither one of them would have, their lives would have never went like that. They both got fucked up fathers. I mean, that's just in my opinion. My mom feels the same way. She's upset about it, you know, and the fact that, you know, it's my mom's grandchildren, and neither one of them never called my mother. You know, she's been really sick. I don't know how many years I have left with my mother. She's been extremely, like, very ill. And, no, my nieces, neither one of them have never, ever called my mother to check on her, ask her how she is. I mean, and that's their grandmother, you know? It's like, to me, that's fucked up, you know, that is. No, Gavin, you know, it's messed up how she acts. No, actually, I wasn't rude to her at all. You know, I just told her she wasn't getting the ashes. I said, this exactly, she cursed me out. She's the one that told me, go fuck myself. She called me an asshole. She called me like all these curse words. And all I said to her was, I said, you could call me every name in the book. I really don't care. I said, you're not getting the ashes. They're mine. And I'm releasing them. And that's it. I said, now, you could go ahead and block me if you want. Never talk to me again like you said you were going to. I said, because you know what? I said, you've never called me anyway. You never called me or your grandmother since my sister died. You haven't called either one of us. I said, I'm the one that's always calling you. So I said, what's the difference? What is the difference? Go ahead and block me. I really do not give a shit. And that's exactly the way I said it. But yeah, you know, and then she talks like how mature she is and everything, you know, and she's like, oh my God, I'm close to 30. And I'm like, you're only 28. Like, don't push it. You know what I'm saying? You're 28. That's how you act younger than 28. You know, I was like, you act like a little kid. You know, talking like that. And then, like, giving somebody, like, disrespecting your elders. She has no respect for nobody, you know. I mean, I never disrespected people older than me. Never. You know, that's not right. You want respect, you give respect. I know, Jacob, but you know, it's like she seems to forget that, you know, me and my mother have been hurting too. And if anybody's hurting more than her, it's my mother. Because that was her child. My mom lost her firstborn child. There's no hurt more worse than that. So I get it, you know, losing a parent. I know the hurt because I lost my father. I know the hurt of losing a parent. So I understand what my niece is going through. I do understand the hurt that she has. And I've already forgiven her. But I can't beg her to talk to me if she's done with me. You know, the only way her method of talking to me is for me to give her my sister's ashes. I'm not giving her my ashes. That's the only way she's gonna talk to me. So I'm not doing that. That is never gonna happen. You know, and I've told this like 5 different people. I asked them their opinion. I said, "Do you think I should give her my urn?" They said, "Does she have an urn?" I said, "Yes, she has a big ass urn. She has a big one." I said, "I got a little tiny one." And she's like, "Okay." They're like, "Okay, well, if she has one, then why does she want yours?" They were like, "Don't give it to her." No, Jamie, because she has a big ass urn of her mother's ashes. And me and my mom got a little tiny jar of her ashes. So they're mine. Yeah, and she gave me an ultimatum and said if I don't give her my ashes, I'm dead to her. I'm not her aunt no more. She's blocking me. She's cutting me off. We're not family no more. I said nobody threatens me and nobody gives me ultimatums. I don't do that with nobody. So I was like, sorry, but no. I was like, everybody told me that I'm the one that's right and she's wrong. So she's not getting anything. Yeah, it's been 16 years since my sister's been passed away. She died when she was 39. So it's like, why all of a sudden would she wait 16 years after my sister's dead, like gone, for her to start all this? You know what I'm saying? Like, to start drama with this. You know, it's like, leave my sister in peace. You know, she's been gone almost a decade. You know, let her be in peace. She's not here anymore. It's alright, Jamie. Some people just walk in the middle of a conversation and they miss like half of, like, you know, what was said. So it's all good. But yeah, I've been dealing with that, and then, you know, my girlfriend's been so busy. We haven't had any time together. My mom's been sick. You know, she's supposed to spend tonight with me, so hopefully she does come. She was supposed to stay over yesterday, but she wasn't feeling well, so, you know, probably. But I mean, her dad's no picnic. Like I was saying earlier, she's 28 years old. She's never left the house except to go with her dad. She lives with her dad. She never got her own apartment. You know, she's never had a date. She's never had a boyfriend. She's never been kissed. She dropped out of high school her junior year. You know, all she does is stay in her room and draw. She draws. Yeah, this is what she does. She's 28 years old, and this is what she does. You know, that's what she does. Stays in her room, draws, watches anime cartoons, and plays video games. What 28-year-old does that? I had my own apartment when I was 22 years old. I was paying my own bills at that time. I didn't have time to like draw and watch cartoons and play video games. You know, I had to buy my own food and shit. I was worrying about food I was gonna put in my house, clothes on my back, paying my bills in my house, my electric and shit. You know what I mean? Like all of that, my phone bill and everything, my cable. You know, like, I mean, seriously, she hasn't had nothing to worry about. You know, she's been daddy's little shadow. You know, it's like she's been hiding under his ass. And that's probably where she's gonna stay until her dad dies. Oh, absolutely. This generation, no offense. I mean, most of the kids from this generation, I mean, there's 8-year-olds with $500 iPhones. I mean, when I was 8 years old, I mean, I had a plastic rotary phone. You know those old rotary phones that you like dial and it's like one, two. You know, and I had the handpiece like that, and it was plastic. It was a toy phone. That's what I had. You know, that's what I had when I was 8. You know, these kids that are 8, they're getting $500 iPhones and shit, like on the internet and on YouTube and everything. Like, I mean, seriously, like, yeah, the generation has way changed. Like, definitely, it's gotten way different. You know, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I probably might end up changing the title to this blog because I don't know if I'm gonna do my urban legends now or not. I've already been talking like 20 minutes, so I'll probably do the next blog. I'll just like chat with you guys in this one, retitle the video, and do the next one with the urban legends. I'll talk with y'all guys since I haven't been on here in a while, so. But, yeah, you know, I mean, that was hurtful because I love her to death, you know, and I promised my sister, you know, before she died, I told her, you know, no matter what, I would always be there for her kids. You know, if they ever, if either one of them ever needed me for anything, you know, that I would always be there for them, you know, and they never came to me for anything, you know, they basically ignored me. They never called me, you know, I had to call them. You know, well, one of them, the other one, I don't know. Like her grandmother never let me or my mother talk to her till she was grown up. So that I have no idea what that issue was with my other niece. Like, you know, so now the only time she spoke to me was I think like 2 years ago. The only reason she had called me is because it was her first time coming out, you know, being gay. So she asked me about it, you know, since I'm gay. So that's what she came to me about. And she was like, you know, how did you tell everybody? You know, what did they say? And, you know, she wanted my advice on that, you know, and then come to find out she wasn't just lesbian. She wanted to be transgender. You know, she wants to be a boy now. So that I was like, well, you know, I mean, I know a lot on, like, I've done a lot of research on it. Would I do it? No. I mean, if I wanted to be a boy, would I go through all those procedures? Honestly, no. I wouldn't. After everything I've read, I really would not. I mean, it's like torture, honestly. Like mutilating your body. I would just, you know, I would probably just like, you know, wear a packer in my boxer shorts when I went out, you know, during sex, put on a strap on, you know, there's stuff like that. I mean, but I wouldn't transform and get a fake penis and, you know, fake testicles and, you know, and get a penis pump and, you know, all that stuff done. Like, no, I wouldn't go through all that. Get my boobs chopped off. I mean, you know. Well, I mean, you know, you can only do so much, you know what I mean? I mean, then my niece that stays home watching cartoons and stuff, I thought she was gay at one point because she's never dated. You know, the younger one has, you know, that's why she came out to me and told me she was gay. But the older one, no, that stays in the house and plays anime and stuff, Amber, that's the oldest one. No, she's never had a boyfriend. And so I asked her one time, I said, are you gay? I said, you could tell me. I said, because obviously I am. So I'm not going to judge you or anything. And she started laughing and she's like, no, I know. She goes, no. She's like, I'm not into women. She was like, I just haven't wanted to date anybody. And I was like, that to me, that's just really odd because like I had a boyfriend. Like I was into boys when I was younger, but I was into both boys and girls. So I was like bi, you could say, when I was younger, because I was into guys and girls when I was like younger, really young. And like I had my first boyfriend when I was like 8 years old. It was like a little crush thing that went on, but my first kiss, I think I was like 12, and her 28 years old, and she's never wanted to date anybody like that. To me, like in my 20s, I'm not gonna lie, I was promiscuous at one point, like I was constantly like the sex was on my mind. I was like a guy, honestly. I was like thinking about sex, 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 sex. I went crazy in my 20s. But, I mean, back in my times, in my 20s, that was in the you gotta remember this now, this was in the 90s. So, you know what I mean? Like, this was like in the late 80s and 90s. So, things were different during that time. But yeah, when I was in my 20s, I was crazy. I was just like, my hormones shooting, like I would get horny and like, but for her to say like she's lying if she says she's never been horny, I gotta say she's a fucking liar. I've never met one person who has ever told me that they have never been horny in their life. Yeah, well, because she never leaves the house. I mean, how's she going to meet somebody if she never leaves the damn house? I told her, I said, if you leave the house, at least get a job. If you want to live off of your dad the rest of your life until he dies, go ahead and do that. I mean, I'm no one to judge, because I've done fucked up things in my life too, I've made bad decisions when I was younger too. Well, not at her age, but I mean, when I was younger, I made bad decisions, and I learned from it, you know what I mean? But like, go out, meet people, I mean, she's just talking to people on the Xbox. Her Xbox Live. I mean, you can't really meet people like that. I mean, maybe you can. I don't know. I've had Xbox Live and I didn't really meet people like that. People were just like, when you talk to them on there, they're like more into like, go there and shoot that guy. And, everybody's more talking about the game and like what's going on in the game. Like they're not really conversating with you. It's not like a regular chat room. So, I mean, it's not like she's going to meet somebody on her Xbox. You know what I mean? It's like she needs to go out. She said she loves to read. Go to Barnes and Nobles. I told her this like I don't know how many times. I said, why don't you get a job in Barnes and Nobles? I was like, because you love Funko Pops, you like reading. I was like, they got both in Barnes and Nobles. I said, they even have famous people that come in there and do book signings. I said, that's the most awesome job. Like, I would love that job. You know what I mean? And putting books on shelves and new Funko Pops that come in and you're the first one to get dibs on them. I'd be like, I'm getting that one, put it in the back, Or like new books that come in that you really want. Like, I'm obsessed with Stephen King. If a new Stephen King book came out, I'd be like, that's mine. Go put it in the back, like. I'd be like, yo. And like somebody come in for a book signing, I'm the first one right there before the store even opens. I'm like, yo, stop my book. I'm like, that is the ultimate job right there. If you don't want to hardly do shit. You know what I'm saying? Go in Barnes and Nobles and then when you're on your lunch break, go upstairs. They got an upstairs, like a little lounge area. I was like, go sit in one of the little sofas, read a book and eat your sandwich, like, I mean, come on. What's so hard about that? I mean, come on, man. And I've tried to put that in her head, like, I don't know how many times, like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, I'm telling you, get a job in Barnes and Nobles. Like, that's the ultimate place to work. Like, that's where I would want to work. You know, do the least amount of shit and stuff that gets exciting at the same time. You know, like, go open work there. You know, like, come on now. I was like, and you know how to read. I mean, what are they gonna make you do? Stack shit up, stack up a big pile of Funko Pops when they come in, stack up books in certain places, you know, put books back on shelves where they're supposed to be. I mean, come on, if that's really fucking hard for you to do. I mean, I don't think so. Well, regardless, you know what I mean, Jacob? I mean, even if she had anxiety, you know, I have anxiety, but I take medication for it. I still go out if I want to go out, you know what I mean? There is medication for that, you know? And besides, if she worked in Barnes and Nobles, I doubt she'll be around that many people bothering her because their faces are going to be down in books, you know, either studying or looking for a book. I mean, it's not like they're going to be in there. You know, it's not like it's a social gathering, you know, when you go in Barnes and Nobles, you know. So, I mean, that would have been the perfect environment for her. But she don't even want to do that. You too, Jacob. It was good talking to you. Have a good night. I always end up getting people in different time zones. I gotta change my time. Usually I'm in here. I post like usually. Sometimes I've done chats after dark. You know, like I usually come on like around midnight sometimes. You know. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, those of you who have already are subscribed already, who have been subscribed or like seen my other vlogs already, yeah, that's where I've been. Like, if you've noticed, I haven't posted in a while. That's why, because there's been like so much, like I said, there's been just like so much drama going on, you know, and it's like I don't even know where my relationship is headed, where that's going. You know, it's basically non-existent at this point. And for the moment, I basically just got my mom. You know what I mean? That's pretty much it. You know. I mean, at least where I'm at. And, you know, at least the landlord, he's cool, you know, like, he's done favors for me and stuff. Like, you know, if I've needed certain things from the store, you know, it was during a time, you know, I had an argument with my mom's boyfriend because I don't like the guy. So, and during the time, like, he was throwing the garbage out and shit, you know, stuff that had to be done here. So he wasn't doing it anymore. So I basically asked, my landlord, you know, I told him I would pay him to throw out my garbage. So now my landlord does it. And I told my mom, I was like, see, I was like, you know, I'm an independent person. I was like, I always find a way, you know, to get shit done when I got to get something done. You know, like, if one thing goes bad, you know, I find another way to get it done, you know, or to do it. So, you know what I mean? So, I'm kind of debating if I should still do the urban legends in this blog or not. And just change the title, like Where I've Been plus Urban Legends. Because I've been doing this book for a while already, and there's still a lot of chapters. Like, I want to get through it. You know? Alright, I'm gonna try to read it fast for you guys. Hopefully it won't take me that long. because ain't none of y'all in here for me to chat with right now. So, okay, this chapter is chapter 6, called Losing Face. Sorry if I mess up because I'm not wearing my glasses right now. Okay. I don't think that's the first story. Hang on. That's just the chapter. Hang on a second. Let me find the first story. Okay. This one sounds weird. I mean, the titles on some of these just sound weird. Like, I have no idea where they're gonna go. Because, like, I haven't read any of this. Like, when I read these chapters on here, this is actually the first time I'm also reading it. But yeah, excuse any mistakes I might make while I'm reading, because like I said, I'm not wearing my glasses. So some of the letters, they tend to get a little bit blurred up. Okay, so this one is called The Unzipped Plumber or Mechanic. Newspaper friend Tom Ungles of Satanta, Kansas, an occasional visitor to Woodland Park, has forwarded a copy of a lighter vein item appearing in a Kansas newspaper. The item gave us a few chuckles, so we pass it along to courier readers for hopefully the same purpose. We give you this, believe it or not, from the Arkansas Daily Traveler. This story purported to be true by those who tell it, has its local in Lawrence, Kansas. It seems a young wife noticed that the trailer home occupied by her husband and herself had developed a plumbing problem. She informed her husband of this fact and left the mobile home for an errand. Returning, she found a pair of legs extending from beneath the trailer, and feeling playful, giggled, lowered the zipper of the pants, and entered the door of the house. Imagine her chagrin when she found her husband lolling on the sofa watching television. When she had recovered her composure enough to explain to her mate what she had done, he in turn explained to her that he called a plumber when he found the repair job beyond his abilities. Gathering their courage, they ventured outside together to attempt to explain to the plumber below the home. They found the plumber in the same position as before, except that he appeared to be unconscious from a blow to the head. He evidently suffered when he reacted to the playful prank of the young housewife by quickly raising his head to see what was happening. Horrified, the young couple called an ambulance, and soon the vehicle with 2 attendants arrived on the scene to aid the injured plumber. When the circumstances surrounding the injury to the man were subsequently related to the 2 attendants, however, they became so overpowered with the humor of the situation that during a fit of convulsive laughter, they dumped the hapless plumber to the ground, breaking his arm. Imagine, if you can, that plumber awakening in the hospital with a broken arm and a knot on his head, with the last positive memory being that of feeling his zipper being lowered. We'll bet that young couple received a bill for $51.88 at least. Alrighty. Just reading urban legends. Okay, this one is a short one. This one is called, this is a short one. This one is called The Unzipped Fly. The version that I heard in Denmark from my father in the late 1960s or early 70s runs as follows. A couple in the Royal Theatre in Copenhagen, they have stalled and the theater is packed. The drama has just begun when latecomers appear, among them a young lady in a big chiffon dress. They have to get past a couple, and as everybody on their row gets up as well, the man notices that his fly is open. At the moment when the festively dressed lady is passing, he pulls the zipper, and most unfortunately, the chiffon skirt gets caught. However much he tries, he can't get it open again, and the woman angrily turns on him as he stammers some explanation. Hushing and irritated whispering is already being heard behind them. His surprised escort and his confused wife see them go out close together as he nervously whispers, "We have to get out and fix it outside." They have to have help from the attendant who cut them loose, and he had to pay for a new dress. Oh man, imagine that. I would have went outside with them. I'm like, what the hell? Okay, this one is called the golf bag. Okay, a golfer was having a terrible round, hitting ball after ball far out into the woods or straight into sand traps or water hazards. Finally, at the 18th hole, after plunking 3 more shots into a pond, the disgusted player flung his whole bag of clubs into the pond and strode out to the parking lot, vowing never to play this stupid game again. 5 minutes later, watched by the same group in the clubhouse bar who had seen the earlier scene, the golfer returned. He borrowed a rake from a groundskeeper and fished out his golf bag. Then sheepishly got his car keys out of a zippered pocket, flung the golf bag back into the water, and walked back to the parking lot. Okay, so dumbass threw his keys in the water with the golf bag. Oh my god. Okay, let's see. This one's called the Unlucky Contacts. Every spring, Tom Todd's, a contributing editor of Family Safety and Health magazine published by the National Safety Council, compiles a list of what he calls freak squeaks, accidents with a humorous twist. Several readers of my column sent me Dodd's 1987 list, published in the spring issue. I enjoyed the collection, as I always do, but 2 squeaks described in the article seem to be urban legends. One is a variation of cruise control included in chapter 14. The other suspicious story deals with another fairly recent innovation, contact lenses. Dodd tells the story like this. When the DePaul University basketball team went on the road to play Dayton forward, Kevin Golden and guard Andy Locks were paired as roommates. Before Golden hit the sack, he put his contact lenses in a glass of water next to his bed. Locks woke up thirsty, grabbed the water, and guzzled down his roommate's contacts in one mighty gulp. Oh, I have heard several versions of the swallowed contact story, generally attributed to some anonymous friend of a friend. Okay, well, I'm going to say, in my opinion, that's a lie, because you're not supposed to put contacts in a glass of water. You have a contact case you're supposed to put them in, and you're supposed to put them in a contact solution. So, I don't know if I believe that or not. I mean, but there is stupid people, so I don't know. And this was back in, when was it? In the early 80s or something? It probably might have happened. And in a 1985 column attacking the vanity of contact wearers, columnist Mike Royko wrote, "We've all heard the stories about people who awake thirsty during the night and, in reaching for a glass of water on the nightstand, accidentally drink their contact lenses. A common variation of the swallowed contact story has a clever and provocative angle. In this version, a prominent man or woman is engaged in an illicit affair. He swallows his mistress's contacts, and in the accident leads to their misbehavior becoming known to the public. In 1982, Diana McLellan reported such an accident in her Washington Post gossip column Ear, saying that it happened to an unnamed Midwestern congressman and his secret lover. The congressman, she wrote, gratefully gulped the glass of water his charmer had thoughtfully placed beside the bed. The glass contained her contacts, which he swallowed unawares, and he only learned of it when she called him at the office the next day. Wow, that is messed up. People swallowing contacts? I don't know. I don't know about that one. Hang on, you guys. I'm gonna try to cut this vlog a little bit. I'm gonna try to get it, the vlog to end quicker. It's already been into 45 minutes. I didn't really want it to get this long. Okay, this one is called The Wrong Teeth. A husband and wife were taken to the Gulf Coast of Australia for the day by friends. Relationships had been strained between them for some time, and the friends hoped that by taking them out for a carefree day together, they might salvage their relationship. However, the husband made many sour remarks about his wife. The party went surfing. The wife was overtaken by a wave and dumped, and when she splutteringly broke the surface, she gasped and confessed that in her panic she had opened her mouth and lost her false teeth. Husband sneered, then when her back was turned, slipped his false teeth from his jaw and pretended to retrieve them from the sand. His wife washed them hastily in the sea and slipped them into her mouth. When she took them out with an exclamation of disgust and hurled them seaward, remarking, "Those aren't mine. Somebody else must have lost them." Oh man, what a dumbass husband. Not only did his wife lose her false teeth, but she made her husband lose his false teeth. Oh my god. Okay, this one's called Bungling Brides. For years, our rabbi has used his own version of the story you call The Bungling Bride to make a point about the necessity of understanding the reasons behind the performance of religious rituals. Rabbi Robert Schreiberman of Temple Jeremiah in Northfield, Illinois, tells the story like this. A wife always prepared the roast for our holiday meals by cutting it in two and roasting each half in a separate pan. When her husband asked why she did it this way, she said that her mother had always done it that way, and she was just following her practice. When they asked her mother why she cut the roast in half, she said it was because her mother had always done it that way. So they asked grandmother, and she said it was because she never had a pan large enough to hold a roast that would feed the whole family at a holiday dinner. So she was forced to cut the roast in half. Ours is a Reformed Jewish congregation, and Rabbi Schreiberman used this story to point out the need to understand why a certain ritual is done and to perform it because of knowledge and understanding rather than as mere repetition of a no longer meaningful activity. The rabbi and I thought you would enjoy learning how an urban legend is told for a special religious purpose. Okay, that religion and the roast thing, I don't get that. I mean, maybe somebody that is Jewish gets that. I mean, I got Jewish family members, but I still don't understand that. I got Jewish cousins because my uncle married a Jewish woman, but I still don't know her religion and stuff. Okay, this one's called The Nude Bachelor. In a 1987 release, Jim Davis, creator of the popular Garfield comic strip, retold a classic urban legend in 7 graphic panels and a few well-chosen words. By such means, urban legends sometimes gain an assist from the mass media and again pass by word of mouth with renewed vigor. In the first panel of Davis's Sunday strip for March 15th, a feisty feline, Garfield gives his owner, John, a sharp smack for using up all the hot water during his shower. The next 5 panels depict the cat's revenge. He waits until John has stepped out the front door, wrapped only in a towel, to pick up the morning paper, and then he gives the door a quick slam, stranding John outside. In the last panel, 2 neighbors comment on the disgusting scene of the bachelor caught outside in the nude. The nude bachelor has been told for years as one of the most popular caught with your pants down urban legends it usually is said to have. Oh my god, now I'm gonna have to check that on Garfield. Okay, it usually is said to have happened to a friend of a friend, but the very widespread telling of this story is a virtual guarantee that it didn't really happen to anyone, even remotely connected with the storytellers. I honestly had never heard the story before, said Davis. When asked about the origin of this particular strip, if he's right, it may be that the gag is such a good one that inevitably any number of people think it up independently, or it is possible that Davis heard some version of the story, forgot about it, but then drudged it up in a new form during the creative process. The newspaper is a key element in most versions of the story. Often the sound of the paper hitting the porch is what causes the nude man to peek outside. Then usually he gets stuck out there when the door accidentally slams shut. And so he has only the paper to cover his nudity. The nude bachelor is popular in Eastern Europe. Hungarian-American folklorist Linda Dag reported hearing it in Budapest in 1960. A version it also occurred in the 1961 Russian novel 12 Chairs. This, in turn, was depicted in the 1970 Mel Brooks film based on the novel, so another media treatment of the legend may have aided its oral circulation here. I heard the story told twice in Romania some years ago. Once it was supposed to have happened to a man staying in his girlfriend's apartment who woke up nude just as the mail arrived and stepped out to reach the box. In the second Romanian version, the nude man was reached across the hall to drop some trash down the building's garbage chute when his apartment door closed behind him. Sometimes the victim of the misadventure may attempt to climb a tree and re-enter through a bathroom window, but he drops his towel as he climbs, and he is apprehended by the police, who were called by nervous neighbors who had looked out and seen a nude man in a tree, looking into the bathroom window of the house next door. Wow, okay. So they thought a nudist was a peeper. Okay, this one is called Come and Get It. My mother used to tell a story about 2 or 3 young, recently married couples who were sharing a cottage. One of the wives, having prepared dinner, having prepared dinner, found that a man she thought was her husband was still in the shower. So she reached through the curtain, gave his penis a yank, and said, "Ding dong, supper's ready." Later, she discovered that her own husband was not in the shower. My mother, unfortunately, has died, and her sister does not remember the story. My brother does, however, and although neither of us can remember the names she gave the couples, we do agree that they were named as she told the story. My guess is that the story, legend or not, was current in Grand Rapids, Michigan, in the late 30s or very early 40s when and where my mother was in high school. I kept practicing it, a difficult phrase in Mozart opera duet to myself over and over again until my roommate, the tenor Murray Dickey, who was singing Pedrillo in Dia Entrebrunch Os Dem Surreal. Sorry, I don't know, that's in some language. Eventually screamed at me, "If you sing that damn thing once more, you'll drive me mad." And for years afterwards, he would greet me with the phrase whenever we met, while I, in my turn, would call out to him, "Ding dong, time for tea." This stemmed from an incident at his London home when friends were visiting for a performance of The Marriage of Figaro at Covent Garden, in which Murray and I were singing. Going to call her husband from his bath, Anne Dickey saw him stooping over, as she thought, to retrieve something from the floor. Still naked, reaching one hand between his legs, she called gaily, "Ding dong, time for tea," and went into their bedroom. There she was confronted by her husband dressing and realized what an embarrassing surprise their visitor must have had. Oh my God. Seriously? People, make sure you're, like, whoever's in the shower, make sure that's your other half before you go grabbing body parts or jumping in the shower with them and shit. That's embarrassing. Stuff like that I believe to be true, not an urban legend, because accidents like that happen. But, okay, this next one is called A License to Practice. A couple from, say, Minneapolis or another American city were touring France. They were staying in an expensive hotel in Paris, and one morning shortly before they returned home, they decided to go their separate way for half a day. The husband wanted to go sightseeing while the wife had a bit more shopping to finish. They agreed to meet again around noon in front of the hotel. The wife arrived back first, and while waiting for her husband, she paced back and forth in front of the hotel or in the lobby. Some passing gendarmes noticed the woman and said something to her that she did not understand. They were just writing her out a ticket when her husband arrived and added his voice to her strong protest that she had done nothing amiss. The Americans were both taken to the police station, where the wife was booked for soliciting sex in a public place. Although the couple explained what was going on, the police insisted that to correct the mistake would take more time than the Americans had left in Paris. So it would be simpler if the woman would just buy a license to practice prostitution. Okay? They did so, and now have the license framed in their home in Minneapolis. Okay, I don't know if I believe that one. That's the craziest shit I've ever heard. I mean, I've never been to Paris, but I've never heard of buying a license for prostitution or soliciting. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. And I could see it. She must have been dressed like I don't know, like her dress must have been like high up on her thighs. Or so. She must have been dressed like half a hoe or something. That's what I call them, half a hoe. Anyway, this next one is called The Witness's Note. In the locker room of the Los Angeles Athletic Club, recently 2 young deputy city attorneys, sweat-stained from the handball court, were discussing current trials. "Did you hear the winner of the game asked about the rape case in Van Nuys? I dropped in to see how a friend of mine was handling the prosecution. The victim was testifying. My friend asked her what the defendant had said when he broke into her apartment. She said, I want to blank, and then said she just couldn't repeat it out loud. So the judge had her write it down on a slip of paper. The attorneys and the judge looked at it, and the bailiff passed it to the jury. Each juror read it and passed it along. It was after lunch and kind of warm, and the last guy in the back row was dozing. The woman juror sitting next to him nudged him and handed him the note. He woke up and read it, looked at the note again, broke into a big smile, and tucked it into his coat pocket. The second attorney, loser at handball, showed no mercy. Then how come? He asked. I heard about the same thing happening in Long Beach Superior Court 3 years ago. Really? The first man said. Could it have happened twice? Okay, so the guy that was asleep thought the woman passed him the note from her. Now that's messed up too. Okay, let's see. This one is called The Blind Date. I don't think I've ever gone on a blind date. I think I did once, and ew, no, it didn't work. May 1st, 1994. Dear Ann Landers. Oh my God, I remember Ann Landers. I used to love her. I met a young woman at college who has it all. Looks, brains, and personality. I finally got up enough nerve to ask her out, and she accepted. After we had been dating for a few months, it became apparent that she was beginning to feel as strongly about me as I felt about her. So we made plans to go on our first out-of-town overnight trip together. A drive to San Diego for a 3-day weekend. Although I didn't know for sure that anything was going to happen, I thought I'd better be prepared. So I stopped by a drugstore on the way home from school to buy some condoms. I had never bought condoms before. I usually got them from friends. So I was a little ill at ease. I tried to make small talk with the pharmacist as he rang up my purchase and foolishly blurted out that I might get lucky over the weekend. When I went to pick up my girlfriend the next morning, imagine my shock when the pharmacist answered the door. He was her father. I was so embarrassed I couldn't speak. Fortunately, my girlfriend was ready on time, and we managed to leave after a brief introduction. We had a lovely weekend, but I didn't tell her that I had bought the condoms from her father. I now am feeling guilty and uneasy. Should I say something and get it over with, or keep quiet? Wow. For real? Damn. Oh, it's still going. Dear BN, keep quiet. It's enough that you are embarrassed. Why make your girlfriend uncomfortable too? There are times when the less said, the better. And this happens to be one of those times. May 1st, 94. Dear Ann Landers, the story in today's column about the guy buying condoms from a pharmacist who turned out to be his date's father is an old urban legend. Many readers have written me about this story, several of them pointing out that it also appeared in a 1972 underground comic book as one of the adventures of the Fabulous Fury Freak Brothers. I think the reader from Van Nuys, California, who sent it to you either read it in my book, saw the comic book, or simply heard the story in oral tradition. Best wishes from a faithful reader. Dear Jan H. Brunman, sorry to be so late in responding to your letter on May 1st, but I just returned from a cruise and am catching up with the mail that accumulated in my absence. I am really embarrassed by the fact that I've been had. Dozens of readers have written to tell me the condoms letter was a gag. I am amazed that no one in my Chicago office or my California syndicate caught it. I'm signing myself. Red face in Chicago, Ann Landers. Wow. That, I believe that's true. Because obviously they just said it was, but if he took it from another story and used it, I have no idea. But I know there's been a lot of embarrassing situations like that have happened to people. I mean, not exactly that way, but, embarrassing ways how people have met their spouses, like parent or whatever. You know, so yeah, I don't know. What is this? January 29, 1993 tells the story of a young man who returned to the drugstore where he had purchased his high-tech metal whammo slingshot to buy a new rubber sling. When he told a young girl at the pharmacy counter that he needed a rubber for his whammo, she turned bright red and suddenly turned to some urgent business in the back of the store, leaving him standing there. Wow, okay. Yeah, these are just like little side stories. This story made more sense when told decades ago, before condoms were openly displayed in grocery stores, drugstores, convenience stores, and the like. More recent versions describe a young woman either being fitted for a diaphragm or buying a pregnancy test kit from a doctor or a pharmacist who turned out to be her boyfriend's mother or father. Along a similar line, Joe and Teresa Graydon, in their syndicated People's Pharmacy column. Okay, that is crazy, but I think things like that have happened. I'm sorry, but yeah, I do believe that. Okay, this is the last one. This is called, wow, okay, buying Tampax. I have heard this one so many times that I've stopped counting. I've heard it from actual grocery store clerks, both in Arizona and Florida, who swear they've heard it live. A beautiful woman went shopping in a grocery store. After reaching the checkout counter, the clerk, also female, asked her, "Will there be anything else, ma'am?" "Well, yes, there is," the shopper replied. "I looked for a box of Tampax on the shelves, but I couldn't find it." "No problem," the clerk said, grabbing the store microphone. Oh my God. Yeah, that's embarrassing. A stock boy, her voice boomed over the loudspeaker. "We need a box of Tampax at register 3. The woman grew embarrassed, waiting as all the other shoppers were looking at her, smiling. Oh, wow. See, that I would never do that. I'd be like, "No, stop." I'd be like, "I'll go find them." That is just some embarrassing shit. Okay. Where was I? Okay, the other shoppers were looking at her, smiling. In the back room, 2 stock boys were working, listening to the announcement. "What do they want?" the first stock boy inquired. "Thumbtacks," the stock boy who had just entered said. The first stock boy grabbed his own microphone and boomed his own message over the loudspeaker. "Do you want the kind you push in with your finger, or the kind you pound in with a hammer?" The shopper fled the store without waiting for an explanation. Wow. Sent to me in 1987 by Kevin Feldman of Phoenix. I earlier got the same story from readers in Texas and Connecticut, and a student of mine told me that she had heard it told during a training session for grocery store cashiers. In some versions, the stock boy inquires over the loudspeaker, "What happened to that price check you wanted on a box of Thumbtacks?" In 1996, David Altum of St. Louis, Missouri, reported to me that his fiance and a friend actually heard the Tampax Thumbtacks dialogue broadcast over a loudspeaker at a local Target store. I suspect that this was a deliberate prank carried out by someone who had heard the whole story. Wow. Oh my God. Now that is embarrassing. Wow. Thumbtacks? I wouldn't have even thought of that. All right, you guys. So that was the end of that. Sometimes I do 2 a day, but since I made this long, I have to change the title because it was I have to put like where I've been plus urban legends. So I'm gonna leave that here, and I'll probably log back on and just chat bullshit with you guys for a little bit. All right. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Sorry I ended up venting a little bit at the beginning of the vlog. You can fast forward that part if you don't want to hear any of that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the urban legend story. There'll be others coming, obviously. So yeah, I'll leave this here. I'll be back in another vlog just to, bullshit for a little while. Anyway, so if you guys like that video, give me that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Anytime you want to be notified of a new video, hit that post notification bell down below in the corner. So until next time, you guys, peace. God bless. Love all y'all. Ladies.